When you start doing cord cutting, you'll realize how much of those thoughts are from outside influences pushed in on you, as opposed to how you really see yourself.
Interesting.
Yes. So there's a woman coming forward,
Mm-hmm.
and she's in a fancy gown.
Oh.
She looks almost like a sort of a Marie Antoinette kind of look, and she's wearing a wig, but she's okay, I think Switzerland,
Okay.
high up in the mountains, and um, okay, she's laughing. She's laughing. She's a trickster. This gal's like really, really a trickster. Um, okay, she is a lady in waiting to some royal type person.
Mm-hmm.
And this would have been around the time of American Revolution, several hundred years ago, just by the way she's dressed. I think a
Mm-hmm.
little before then. Um, and so she's a younger daughter. Okay, this is you, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, okay, her nickname is Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she's got a longer name. But Sophie is not from her first name; it's from one of the middle names because several of the girls in her family share the same first name after their mother and their grandmother, et cetera, et cetera,
Mm-hmm.
just in case, the infant mortality rate was kind of there. So she's saying it's common to share the same
Mm-hmm.
first name. Um, so she's a younger daughter of a middling to doing well, noble family, and but she is so um, fun.
Mm-hmm.
She says she is genuinely frivolous.
Nice.
And she is very clever with her play upon words in a way that even when she insults someone, they are laughing and they're like, I'll take it, She offends no one, she delights everyone, but she is always true to herself. So she says, you know why she's with you. Because she says you shouldn't worry about offending people. If they are offended, then they're not responding well to truth. So, um, so Sophie, she is just adorable, and she has this thing where she just loves like having an ostrich feather. It's interesting, you and this connection to ostriches that's
Hmm.
coming in. So look up when you get home. Look up ostrich as spirit animal and see
Okay.
if there's something there that,
Interesting. Yep.
yeah.
I'll do that.
And so, there she is in her little blue gown with gold embroidery and brocade and her little underskirts and
Mhm.
she's like, it's awful. She said, the only good thing is that, all right, so I don't know what's going on about bosoms also, but she said the only good thing is it makes her bosom with lace around. She's the décolletage, and she waves this ostrich feather,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like almost a little bedazzled.
That's funny.
They're decorated ostrich feathers that she loves to wave around, and she'll go, like almost like a boop kind of thing. Only boop was not a
Yeah.
word they would do, and it was her way of being able to flirt with people without actually touching them because it would have been inappropriate for her to touch men. And while she knew some of the ladies in the court were a little wanton, she was a good girl. So she always wanted to keep an air gap between her and the men, but she really didn't want to.
Mm.
So, and she really wanted to get married.
Wow.
So uh, and she loved flirting, but she had to keep it safe. So that's why she was always like, "You may not come closer than the ostrich feather reach." That was her safety net. And she said, "But do you see how clever she was? Because she got everything she wanted in a way that set boundaries that
Mhm.
had to be respected." Um, And then she did marry well, and she did have a very pleasant life. She says, thank God Switzerland's a neutral country and always has been. And thank God we're high up in the mountains, so it's not worth anyone's effort to go and like invade us. um, and she, she said her life was not eventful. She's like, not like that other gal. Although she was forced into a society of formality, and she said, looking at modern day sanitation, she knows that her life was not sanitary, um, and it didn't even smell good. but um, but she spent her whole life trying to find ways to work around the constraints that were put upon her and get what she wanted, even though women weren't supposed to want anything. So she said, she's with you in a symbiotic relationship. She's here to help you remember that you're supposed to get what you want no matter what. Because she said, things have changed for women and they haven't changed at all. You still have all these constraints upon you and all these demands upon you. But she says you live in a time of wonderment where these things don't really matter. Women have the right to step out of it should we desire. It just takes a great deal of strength and courage, and knowing who you are, what you want. Then these constraints fall off. Um, she says in every family, you have, she laughs, not every family, many families, you'll have like the one child who's free to go and do what they want, and the other child that all the expectations fall upon their shoulders. But the only difference between the two is the inner temperament of the child. Are they willing to have all the constraints put upon them? When you say, no, I don't need to live up to everyone else's expectations, then those people take their expectations and put it on someone else. The only time they grumble and complain is because they're lazy. And if their expectations are on your shoulders, they don't want to go to the effort of moving it someone else's shoulders. The last thing they're going to do is move it onto their own shoulders. So she says, you are a divine human being. You are not an oxen meant to pull a cart.
Good to know.
Yes. So I don't know what's going on in your life, but these are some heavy messages coming through. Yeah. Definitely time for you to rise up like the phoenix. So